bobbin, 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 bobbin around town. Bobbin, 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 bobbin around town.
Back to Bobbin Around Town. I'm Bobby Planzer. Today I have a very special guest on my show, a new staff member of Channel 18, the station that I work for doing my show. Her name is Rachel Larson, and she is the new station manager for Channel 18. Hello, Rachel.
Hi, Bobby. How's it going?
I am well. How are you?
Very well, thank you. It's great to see you.
It's good to see you. Okay, so my first question is, do you have any traditions for Mother's Day?
Simplicity. I think that sometimes we get too involved in trying to make something perfect, and things are perfect just being authentic. So my traditional Mother's Day is really just spending time with my son, Cullen, who's 9.5 now, the half matters. Almost 10, and my mom. So keeping it simple, whether we go to the beach, just do kind of a family dinner, game night, things like that. You know, we've done all the regular stuff of going out for meals and different things. And I just find that simplicity really is what people want, right? You just want to relax and enjoy what Mother's Day actually is.
How is celebrating Mother's Day as a mom more special compared to before you had children?
I think that you learn, in my particular case, I don't take any breath of my little boy for granted. I had a full-term stillborn before Cullen, and I just learned that I value life so much more going through that experience and really watching my little boy grow and realize that every breath is precious. So for me, Mother's Day has a little bit of a different twist. It gives me a lot more appreciation, a lot more gratefulness, a lot more watching my son grow and experience life through his own eyes, which really brings me into a new experience myself. So, yeah.
Nice.
Before it used to be pleasing your mom, right? You'd want to make everything perfect, or you get the flowers and you do all these things for your mom, and now you're the mom, and you know, we're still appreciating my mother or my grandmother when she was alive, but it has a whole different special meaning for me for a variety of reasons.
Have you heard about any unique Nantucket traditions for Mother's Day?
I think more just the beach, right? I mean, we're all beach people here, and salt air, and Mother's Day breakfasts, brunches, things like that. I don't know too many really special traditions that are just Nantucket related, unfortunately, but I think most things just revolve around cookouts or brunch and beach and salt air and appreciating family.
Which would you rather receive, a heartfelt but not super useful craft, or a new gadget that you didn't require too much thought?
Definitely the heartfelt gifts. I keep everything. I have one actually that stays right above my desk up here that my son made this year.
You can show it, yeah.
And we have, let's see,
Oh,
in my room, which I feel is an empty promise. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I've seen the room clean. I don't think I will, but I like seeing it on here. Take care of Ellie, who is my son's Flemish giant. She is a gigantic rabbit. She's bigger than small dogs. He does do a very good job with that. And then we have look on the back. Roses are red, violets are blue. Hello, Mom, I love you. Happy Mother's Day. So things like this are precious to me. I will keep them forever. Gadgets come and go, and this type of stuff you'll keep, and these are cool for them to look back on when they're younger, or for their kids to look back on.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Bobbin Around Town. I'm Bobby Planzer. Today, my special guest is Sarah Alger. Sarah Alger has been the moderator of Nantucket since 1977. I've had the honor of Yes. Oh, 1980.
1997.
1997. Okay. I've worked for Sarah as the bell ringer for a couple of years. So Sarah presides over the town meeting, annual town meeting, and special town meetings. So please welcome Sarah Alger. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks, Bobby. It's great to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
What do you like being about the town moderator, and what don't you like about the job?
Well, okay, what I like about it, I love seeing democracy in action. I think town meeting is the last and purest form of democracy where someone can show up and really have an impact, where their vote really counts. I like being involved in my town and in my town's government. I like being able to meet so many different people across all spectrums of the Nantucket community, not only voters, but non-voters. It's wonderful to see people becoming voters. Like when I first met you and you were first helping me ring the bell, and it's been more than a couple of years. You couldn't vote. I think you were even maybe in 8th grade. So it's been, and so being able to see people come into their own and start participating has been great. The things that I don't like, I guess I wish more people participated. I wish more people came to the meeting. It was great to see so many people out at the beginning of the meeting last Saturday. I don't like getting bogged down in the minutia, and I don't like it when things get personal. I love to have an open and free debate of issues, but I don't like it when it gets personal.
What is the hardest part about being the moderator?
The hardest part, I think, really just staying on top of the paperwork and all of the changes and motions and amendments and corrections and announcements that people want you to make. It's a lot of information to take in and stay on top of. That's the hardest.
Have you had any problems being the moderator, like a microphone blew out, or somebody got angry at you, or somebody tried to rush the stage? Or
well, I've had people very angry at me. I have had a couple of people, not very many, but I can think of 2 occasions when someone actually rushed up on the stage and confronted me in an angry way. Can't really think of any major, there are always funny things that happen, but we just kind of work around them. We've had microphones that didn't work and lighting that wasn't the way we wanted it to be, and the screen, I think, blew out one time, but we were just able to work around it. So many people worked so hard over the winter to make that meeting work the way that it did. And I think it ended up being kind of a special day. It was great seeing people sitting out in the sun, having their lunch, walking around out on the field. That's a different feel than what we have when we're inside the auditorium, in the middle of the night. I don't think we'll see another future outdoor town meeting, and probably the primary reason for that is that I think it's important for us to go back to the April town meeting. Leaving it till June, which we've had to do these last 2 years, is very difficult. And it's particularly difficult for voters because they only have a certain amount of time in a tourist economy to make their money. And having people have to be out in June, whether it's at night or during the day, is just not fair to a lot of people. So I think we need to go back to April. And once we do that, there's no way we could be outside. I barely lived through June 5th. I can't imagine what it would have been like in the middle of April.
With other town moderators, do you all get together and meet about how your town meetings are going?
Yes, there's a Mass Moderators Association, and there's an annual meeting. And it's a lot of fun, and all the moderators get together, and sometimes there's like a mock town meeting. You can talk about all kinds of town meeting issues, hear all these hilarious stories from other meetings, talk about what worked and what didn't work. And then there are also smaller regional meetings throughout the year, but the one meeting in the fall, which of course we weren't able to have in person this past year, is always great.
And my last one is, do you have any funny memories from town meeting being the moderator?
Not specifically. No, I can't. I'm sure there are some, and I'm probably the last person to ask because it's all a blur to me once it's over. But I have a lot of fond memories of people who used to be at the meetings who aren't with us anymore, and people who have moved away. And my daughter used to participate sometimes. She was the bell ringer before you, Bobby.
Oh, great.
And I appreciate you doing what stepping up and doing what you do. That's really important.
Thank you. I was going to talk on Article 90, but I read
That would have been great.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you very much for joining us. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Bobbin Around Town. I'm Bobby Planzer. This lady I'm about to interview was one of the people that invented the Nantucket Daffodil Parade. Mary is also a real estate agent working at Atlantic East Real Estate. Please welcome Mary Malavase.
Yeah, really good, Bobby. Malavase.
Malavase.
I'm happy to be here with you, and thank you for giving me the credit of starting Daffodil. I didn't, but I have been there since the very first show, so I'm happy to talk about the woman who did start this for Nantucket.
Of course. So how long have you been a real estate agent?
Oh, well, this is my second career. I was involved in hotel management prior to, but I've been in Atlantic East for 15 years, and I've lived on Nantucket year-round for 48 years.
Nice. What is your favorite part about the Daffodil Parade?
Well, the parade, of course, is a lot of fun because people get to show off, their antique cars. Because the parade goes on at a time when I am really involved in the flower show, that I don't really have a lot of time lately to see the parade. My friends tell me all about it, and I watch all the videos and everything. But that when the parade is taking place is when the Garden Club and judges from the American Daffodil Society are here, and we're judging the flower show out at it's been at Bartlett Farm Greenhouse for the past few years. So that's what we're doing Saturday morning.
Nice. And how long have you been going to the festival?
Well, I've been here since the very first flower show, which was started by Jean McAuslin back in 1975. It was a very small show back then. Jean had a love of daffodils, and she knew they would be conducive to Nantucket. First of all, daffodils like our sandy soil, so they flourish here and they're easy to grow. And the deer and the rabbits don't eat them. So that was why we don't have a tulip festival, we have a daffodil festival. So Jean was back then president of the Nantucket Garden Club, and she invited some people from the American Daffodil Society, and they started planting bulbs around the island. And she actually helped organize and host the very first flower show, which back then was what we know now as the Boys and Girls Club. It was called the Boys Club back then. And the club allowed the garden club to come in and cover the pool tables with plastic and enter all the single stems and, Coke bottles and soda bottles and whatever. We've gotten a little better since then. And that's how it all started. So from then, Jean decided, okay, it's time to do some more planting. So she was very much instrumental. And by 1979, she had ordered 8 tons of daffodil bulbs to be planted along the Milestone Road. It was a real community effort. A lot of adults went out, families went out. Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, and she had these little yellow birgy flags made up with a daffodil on them. And if you drove out the Milestone Road, you'd find one of these flags. Then you started planting bulbs from there on. And when you finished, you put the flag back in the ground so that the next group of people would know. And all the bulbs, you could pick them up. They were free of charge, that Jean helped fund. Marine Home Center had them all there for us to pick up. So over time, and then a few years after the first show, Milestone Road had quite a few daffodils on it. Other organizations, Mr. Beinecke was involved with the hotels back then and the retail downtown. I think he planted, orchestrated 20,000 bulbs to be planted. So it sort of snowballed literally down Milestone Road. And from then on, Jean, having an antique Rolls Royce, decided, well, now that these flowers are all blooming, we have to have a parade. So that's how the parade got started, by the same woman with her little old Rolls Royce. And her background, she and her husband Earl were the founders of Gourmet Magazine. So when you have a parade, you have to have a picnic.
Yes.
Consequently, that's how this whole thing evolved, from Jean's vision of beautifying the island, having something that would be lasting over time. Daffodils can last for generations, and having a little fun too. So that's how the parade got going and the picnic got going. And, you know, to this day, everything is still going on, and the Chamber of Commerce took over the management of the parade and picnic things, and they've added daffy hats and, you know, bike decorated with children, and the dogs get involved with their deck. So it's sort of evolved into a whole wonderful spring weekend. One of the reasons why Jean wanted to do this, she was a longtime summer resident of the island, but long summer. She'd be up here in April and she'd be here till October, November, lots of times. And she realized that in the spring, a lot of the year-round people that she knew needed an economic boost in the spring. That the resources from the previous year had pretty much run out, and especially if it had been a harsh winter. And she obviously wanted to beautify the island as well. So I don't think anyone realized back from 1975 what an economic impact it would have on us for a spring season. And the Garden Club has continued plantings along with Pascon and a few other organizations. And we mostly focus on areas of large public benefit, mainly the bike paths. You know, things for people to enjoy. People don't realize there's over 32,000 varieties of daffodils. And they are classified in such a way by different divisions and color codes. And I always tell people when they're planting or trying to plant a garden, look for early season, mid-season, and late season daffodils, because you can get them, you know, 2 months of flowers out of them, you know, and you can enjoy, and different colors happen at different times. Your yellow varieties are your earliest. Then you move into sort of orange and yellow, and then you go into pink and white, and then your all whites are the end of the season. So you can constantly have a palette and wonderful spring flowers, whether you enter in the flower show or just bring them in and put them on your kitchen table. You know, I mean, it's fun to enjoy. One of the great resources we have is the American Daffodil Society. This is a membership-based group that has multiple websites that are all free for people to get information. You can go in and help identify your own daffodils by name. They have, I think it's 28,000 photos online, and with a data bank that you can search. And those are the people that come out here and actually judge the horticulture section of our flower show. They're accredited American Daffodil Society judges. We have just planted the Nantucket Garden Club, and I helped. At the new hospital, there is a garden as you enter where the doctor's offices are, where the flagpole is in front. And this past year, for the first year, I picked out, I think it was 24 different varieties and different color codes and early, mid, and late season, and we planted them there. This was the first year, so it'll take a couple years for them to really get fat and happy, as I say. But hopefully that can become a teaching garden. And people, and I'm hopefully going to do a flyer and, leave it at the hospital so you can look and see it, because all of those bulbs are very inexpensive and all of those could be entered in the show. Daffodil bulbs are very easy to plant. Obviously, they love our sandy soil. So in the fall, if you have just a little patch, you can also, if you've got, 5 or 6 of them, you can dig up a little square of, they should be at least 3 or 4 inches apart. What the rule of thumb is, if your daffodil bulb is 2 inches in height, then you would plant it 6 inches in the bottom would be 6 inches below the surface. So it's usually triple the size of the bulb. I like to plant a minimum of 3 of a kind because, and I don't like little soldiers in a row. We like what we call either drift planting, where they sort of go along the landscape, or just, clumps of them. Because I think it's a little more attractive than little soldiers in a row. But so very easy. You plant in the fall. Here, because our soil is so warm, usually into October, you can even plant here in November. My sort of self-imposed deadline is Halloween. I try to get any new bulbs in the ground by Halloween. They love potash. They love fireplace wood ashes. Wow. You don't want to do a lot of fertilizer on daffodils because then you'll get big fat green leaves and no flowers. They don't like a lot of nitrogen. They like a lot of potash. Mm-hmm. So you don't have, and most daffodils, when you plant, you don't have to fertilize them for years. They're usually good. Here, sometimes I might put potash every 2 or 3 years because the sandy soil with rain leaches out. It doesn't hold, a lot of the nutrients, but it's very easy. And as I said, by early, mid, and late, and you can start seeing flowers the end of March, early April. I picked my last one this year, May 31st.
I've had very much fun getting married for the Daffodil Festival. Thank you very much for being here.
Oh, Bobby, thank you so much for having me. I always love talking about my favorite flower.